always great. I mean, you used to have mainframe computers which occupied this much space. Today we carry that power in our pocket, isn't it? So more from less is something that we've always done. So what's so great about it? No. It's not just more from less. It's more from less for more and more and more and more people. This is not accessible to 3 billion people whose income levels are less than $1 a day. Alright? So how do we create products which will serve the society at large? How do we move into that price performance envelope? And that is where Nano is important as a symbol. What does Nano do? It's a 1 lakh car, alright? You look at those millions of two-wheeler holders going in the rain. In fact, I remember Ratan Tata talking to me in Bombay House, right here in Bombay, about 19 years ago, and he described to me how he saw a family of 4 with an infant in hand going in the rain and getting soaked, and he said, come on, do they have to do that? Do they have to do that? Can't they go in a car which is almost of the same price? Basically, people thought he was crazy, he was mad. But he was not, he was a visionary because he saw something which nobody else saw. And today we have created a car which actually makes it possible. That is Gandhian engineering to me, that is frugal engineering in some sense. Indian engineer is very interesting from that point of view. So if you look at the total pyramid that you have, the top of the pyramid are the new rich people. Then you have the middle of the pyramid, the lower middle of the pyramid, the bottom of the pyramid. How can we straddle the entire pyramid by creating products? That's what is going to be important. TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, I'm very happy that your graduates are going there. Let me tell you something about TCS. Yeah, of course it's a great software company, it makes billions of dollars, etc., etc., etc. Market cap, everything you can talk about. But at the same time, their heart is in the right place. So what have they done? Kohli, FC Kohli, he led a team which looked at these 200 million Indians who are illiterate. And you know, we talk about 2020, India will be a knowledge superpower, India will be this, that and the other, etc. How can that be when you have so many illiterates? Right? Now, how much time will it take to make all those illiterate literate? Well, at the rate at which the illiteracy is dropping, it will take 20 years. Can't afford that. Can we make it not 20 years, but in say 5 years? Can we make all those 200 million illiterates literate within 5 years? All of us would say no. He said no. He said yes. And he created what is called as computer-based functional literacy. Where what he does, and I can't get into the detail of that technique, is within 100 rupees for an individual, he makes him literate. Within 6 to 8 weeks, that individual can read a newspaper. Not just sign, I mean, not the other definition of literacy, by the way. Actually can read a entire Medak district became literate, by the way, because Chandrababu gave that district to him and he made it literate. More than 1 lakh people who are illiterate have been made literate in 6 states and in 6 different languages. In fact, in South Africa, it is again doing more from less for more and more people. Within 100 rupees, you are making a person illiterate. And can you imagine if the entire country becomes literate, we are going to have an enlightened democracy. An enlightened democracy, and what a difference that democracy will mean. Last year, I remember February 8, I was in Washington. I was giving a keynote, and Wolfowitz was then the president. He was sitting right up there, World Bank president. And I mentioned to him about this and said there are 800 million illiterates in the world. And for $2 per person, $1.6 billion, you can make the entire world literate. Of course, it is not $2 now, it is $2.5. That's not our fault. The dollar has come down. Alright? So it's a bit more now, not 1.6, but 2 billion. Can you imagine that? And I'm again going to articulate that because again I'm visiting the World Bank. I have some meetings on the 24th and 25th of this month. We have to keep on pushing it. I think the issue of Gandhian engineering is not making good, I mean doing good for a few. It's doing good for everyone. Alright. Making high technology work for the poor, that makes thinking, not just in technology, the way you do it. For example, today, we talk about not a BlackBerry, but there is a mobile in the hands of so many, which is transforming their lives. Where did it all begin? You go back and you will find this great leader again, Dhirubhai Ambani, he simply said, phone call at the cost of a postcard. Look what Ashes at that time. Because it was multiple times of the postcard at that time. But then, he had a young team, people like Mukesh, Manoj Modi and all those, etc. They sat down and they said, we'll relook at the whole thing. And they changed the paradigm. They said, well, we have a refinery experience, we'll use the refinery model. What was the refinery model? The model is that you don't charge on the basis of how much petrol you put in a car, but you charge it on the basis of how much volume you process per day. How many barrels per day or how many tons per day. So they said, why should we be looking at cost per subscriber? Why not per airline, which is the volume of traffic that goes in every 60 minutes and so on. They changed the fundamentals, by the way, not technology. And then of course there were so many other innovations. And today, you see a miracle. I remember 1976, November 15th, I remember coming back to this country to getting you in the morning. What programs do you have? Have innovative programs. Throw that challenge to the young people on Gandhian engineering. Ask them, these are the problems in water, in energy, in this, that, etc., etc. These are the current prices. These are the current performances. Can you think of the most innovative ideas by which the performance can go up by a factor of 10 and the prices can go down by a factor of 10? Spread their imagination. Not the standard books, Timoshenko's, etc. will come and go. I don't care. I think that these are the innovations that we have to look at. Because if we do that, what will we be doing? We will not be caring for the poor of India. We will be caring for the whole world. What India does today, the rest of the world will do tomorrow. I want India to lead the world in a very different way. India must show three things which are very important for an individual, for an institution, for a nation. You know what are they? One is innovation. Innovation. Innovation has to be the key. What is an innovative spirit? Who is an innovator? There is a good definition of innovator which I like, by the way. Innovator is one who does not know it cannot be done. That spirit. Our problem is we already know it can't be done. How do we change that? So innovation. That's going to be the key. Second is passion. Passion in the belly, with the way you do things. And third is compassion. Compassion in the heart. There are many institutions, many nations where there is a lot of innovation, a lot of passion, no compassion. We have to create a compassionate India. The new engineers have to have innovation, compassion and passion. Because if we do that, we'll create a better world. And that better world will not be just for a select few, but will be for all. I believe therefore, let's seriously think about this new paradigm of Gandhian engineering which can make a better world. I cannot see a better tribute to the spirit of Sri K.J. Somaiya, who wanted to give back to the society what was given to him, than adopting this great principle which will show. And then what K.J. Somaiya College does today, the other colleges will do tomorrow and India will do day after tomorrow. Thank you very much.